So our next topic is about color basics and theory. So, ano ba yung importance ng color sa interior design? So, I will ask you to go online and access this site. For a while class, nag-restart kasi yung PC ko kanina. Kindly go to www.menti.com.
Ma'am, pwede pong paulit po ng link.
Kindly go to www.menti.com. I will put it on the chat box. www.menti.com. Use the code 4652048. Na-access mo siya. So yan. What is your favorite color? Kindly enter your favorite color. So lahat ng participants, let us see kung ano yung pinaka-dominant na color na gusto ninyo. So, madami nag-answer ng black, blue. May specific galaxy blue, pastel and neutral. Purple, white, so mostly answered black. So 25, wala pa yung iba. So mag-answer yung iba. 25 yung mag-answer dito sa Menti. Kindly participate dun sa iba.
May isa pong na-disconnect na.
Okay. We are 37. So let's wait for like 5 participants to answer. Meron pa ba? So, ayun, hindi nagsasagot pa. So, hintayin natin. So, top 3 na answers are black, blue, pastel and neutral, and then red. Yung next. Brown. So, top 5 natin is black, blue, pastel and neutral, brown, and red. So, yan. Black is timeless kasi. So, if you are going to ask me what's my favorite color, that is red. So, to have an idea about what color would do in an interior space or an interior design, let me share to you my lecture about color-based design theory. This was shared to you through the learning management system sa ng Cavite State University. So, can you all guys see my presentation?
Yes po, ma'am.
Apo.
So, for the color basis and theory, we are going to discuss about the architectural considerations in color design, color illusions, and advanced scheme principles. Pero before we go to the design aspect of color, ano ba yung basics ng color? So, attributes of color, we have three attributes, which are hue, value and lightness, and chroma or saturation. When we are talking about hue, it is the name for the color such as yellow, blue, and red. So, it is the identification of the color. It is the maximum saturation of a color. Yun yung mismong kulay ng isang kulay. So, when you say blue, that is describing the color blue. So that represents the color wheel. Sa color wheel, the full intensity of the color is represented, just like the image you are looking at. What are the primary colors ba? Ano ba yung primary colors? That is
Yellow, blue, red.
yellow, blue, and red. So ito tatlo na makikita niyo dito sa color wheel. The yellow, blue, and red. So when you are mixing the three primary colors, what will you make?
Green, purple, and orange.
Green, purple, and orange, which are
Secondary colors, ma'am.
primary colors. And then when you mix the secondary and primary colors, you will get what?
Tertiary colors, ma'am.
Color. So that is shown here at the color wheel. So For example, you mix blue with yellow, you will get green. That is the secondary color, the color wheel. And then when you mix, for example, green and yellow, you will get yellow green, right? So, and so on and so forth. So that is the color wheel. Or the attribute of color, which is value and lightness. It refers to the lightness or darkness of the color. So, um, kunyari, you take red. It has the darkness and lightness. So, the attributes of color doesn't fall on the hue itself. So, it also has its darkness and lightness. So, by adding white to the color, you are, go, you are creating its lighter values. While adding black, you will get, syempre, the darker results of a color. So for the chroma and saturation, it is the relative purity or intensity of a color by how much or little gray is added to the color. So we are talking about gray here sa chroma and saturation. The value of a color and a chroma should not change. Only the intensity of the color varies. So kapag napansin ninyo, when you are mixing watercolor or uh, any pigment, when you are mixing it with gray, uh, the, the saturation of the color subsides. Kumbaga, nakapatay mo yung hue ng kulay. Just like this image dito sa figure 1.3. It is shown here that the green chroma scale. So, by how little gray you are adding, makikita niya yung pag-saturate ng kulay. So, from the leftmost is the green, yung hue, yung full intensity ng green. And then, um, the darker color of gray is added. So, napatay niya yung color ng green, naging darker yung color ng green, but is saturated. It is different from adding black or adding white. So, on figure 1.2, gray value scale and green value scale. So, this is the gray value scale. As you can see, so, let's start dun sa from the darkest gray to the lightest gray that you can add in a color. So, ito is the lighter value of the green. So, can you understand the differences between the attributes, the three attributes?
Yes po.
So, next. So, si Albert Mansell is a theorist, a color theorist that describes each and every color as having three dimensions. That was discussed earlier. Um, Sabi niya, this fully describe a color. It is necessary to describe each of the dimensions or attributes. So, um, you cannot perceive or di mo nakikita yung kulay ng hue itself lang. Kumbaga, full intensity lang ng kulay. When you are looking around, you are seeing the three attributes of color. Kaya sinabi ni Albert Manson, merong three dimensions ng color. And then, next, tint, shade, and tone. What is tint? You are making a tint kapag when you add white. So, you create pastel colors. Kapag nag-add kayo ng black, you are um, having a shade of that color. And then, when you add gray, that is tone. So, in other color terms, all of these colors are full intensity or chroma mixed with white, black, and some value of gray. So, look at the picture, the full intensity of red, Then mixed with white, you are creating a tint of that red. And then when you mix black, you are creating a shade of that red, which is darker. And then when you add gray, you are creating a tone of red, which is more saturated, diba? So this for intensity is the hue, tint and shade is the lightness or darkness of a color, and then yung tone is the saturation. For the color temperature, this is very important in designing. So, dapat alam mo kung ano yung color palette that you will use in a specific project. So, what does warm color temperature suggests? So, ano-ano yung mga kulay na under warm color temperature in interior design? That those are red, orange, and yellow. So, uh, as you can see sa figure, these are your warm colors. And then cool colors are green, blue, and purple. So when you are designing restaurants that you consider to have a warm and inviting environment or dining experience. So, syempre you will consider warm color temperature than cool color temperature. Cool color temperature, pwede na i-consider uh, in dining for drinks siguro, ganyan. Or doon tayo sa mag-fall sa mga clinical type of projects. Next is additive color. This is a process of mixing colored light. Kapag sinabing colored light, iba siya from mixing the pigment. As you can see dito sa figure 1.7, the primary colors of light, red, blue, and green, as you can see, will create, when mixed, will create another hue. So, kunwari, itong red and green will create yellow. And then, green and blue will create a lighter value of blue. And then, red and blue will create pink. And then, when all mixed, will create white. That is the primary colors of light. For the primary colors of pigment, syempre yung natutunan natin simula pa nung elementary. Your primary colors, red, yellow, and blue. So, alam na natin yan. Kung paano i-mix and ano yung color na kinakalabasan. And then, for additive color used in theater lighting, so yan, yun nga, as I have mentioned before, the lighter value of a light is produced when combining two of the primary colors of light. And then white is the result by adding these three primary colors. So dito sa interior makikita nyo, dominant is the full color. So the designer wanted this to be light and airy. So the values are beige, green, so, and then merong window sa labas. Parang halos nag-extend yung interior sa exterior dahil ang colors na makikita mo sa exterior are brown, green, white. So, the designer take into consideration yung environment. And then for the subtractive color, this is the result by mixing dyes, pigments, or other colorants, such as the primary subtractive colors are the three primary colors. So when all the primary colors are combined, the resulting color is the blackish brown color. So Lahat naman kayo, na-experience na yan na kahit kung elementary pa, na pinag-mix mo sa dami mo ginagamit na pigment, ang resulting lagi is darkish, is a blackish brown color. And then for the partitive color, the derivation of the third color when viewed from a slight distance when the eye tends to mix the two colors. So, subukan nyo na tingnan yung image in a slight distance. And then, pick two colors. And then, sa palagay nyo, ano yung makikita niyong kulay when you are looking for those two colors. So, for example, you are looking at the primary color, yellow and red. In a slight distance, ano yung makakombine na color?
Orange po.
So, parehas ng color wheel. So, when you are looking on two colors that you are trying to combine, you are creating or you are creating an illusion that you produce the secondary color when you are looking at two primary colors, and then with secondary and primary you are creating the tertiary color. Yan. With this kind of interior, yung color, yung furnitures, sa palagay nyo, what this image suggests? Kung anong klaseng interior design siya. Nagpo-fall. By looking at it, may yellow, brown, blue-green.
Parang warmer environment po, ma'am.
More on. You can check it. Yung mga answers. Put it in the chat box. Gusto mag-ba? Warm tone. Lively. Sino pa? Yes, it suggests lively environment. It has also warm tones. But you can see all these elements or colors in a coastal community. So when you are looking with yellow, you are interpreting the sun. And then you are looking sa blue-green, you are looking sa waters of a coastal community. And then brown red suggests the sun. Looks like a living area. Yes, mainit po. So coastal community is mainit. So next. So we are done with the basics of color theory. Then let us proceed with the architectural considerations in color design. So what are these? Let us take color as an architectural design ingredient. Siyempre, can you imagine a space without color? Diba? Parang walang dimension kung walang kulay. Diba? The color creates the dimension of a space. Kaya importante yung kulay. So, ano ba yung um, design goals and important roles ng kulay sa isang interior environment? So, it sets the emotional tone or ambience of a space. Very important. Focusing or diverting attention. Third is modulating the space to feel larger or smaller. Fourth, breaking up and defining the space. And fifth, it unifies the space or knits the space together. So, ito yung tatandaan yung limang elements or important role ng kulay sa interior design. Sets the emotional tone or ambience of the space. So, makikita mo by the color of the interior kung ano yung gusto niyang i-suggest sa users of that space. Diba? It focus or diverts attention. So, sa isang interior space, when you walk into that space, it's either the designer wants to focus on something. Kunwari, um, dito sa space na to, sa interior space na to, ano ba yung nakapag-focus ng attention ninyo? Dining table. Yung bintana ko. Ano pa? Sa palagay niyo, ano yung naging ambience ng space, ng dining area? Elegant. Um, Lighting. So, by the design, so you can interpret what does the designer wants um, to invite with this interior. So, ano yung color na ginamit niya? Green, brown, and then, dahil maliit yung space, he created or um, he considered putting a floor-to-ceiling window dito sa dining area. Diba? It makes the space more spacious. Diba? Pag kunwari, kumakain ka and then you can look outside. Imagine this na blind wall without this. So, you feel cramped. Diba? Masikip. Maliit na nga yung space and then wala ka pang design consideration na ginawa to make the space larger. So, medyo fail yung design mo nun kapag gano'n. So, dito, he considered having a large window to make the space um, larger. So, it is a lively, airy dining area. Focusing or diverting attention. So, in this image, dito sa cupboard na to, sa palagay niyo, ano yung naging focus nitong cupboard? Anyone in the chat box? Anyone? Focusing or diverting attention. So, ano ba yung sense or ano ba yung function ng isang word? This is to showcase the collection of the owner of um, plates, ganyan. Diba? So, sinowcase niya kung ano yung laman ng cover. Paano niya na-showcase? By considering the color of the cover. So, the owner painted the cover with light color, yung beige. And then, ang yung collection niya, maraming colors, it pops out from the lighter background. Diba? Parang nagpapakita ng painting. Parang isang painting sa wall. You must paint it light. Diba? Para mag-pop out siya sa wall. Para ma-showcase mo yung kailangan mong ipakita. So, it diverts or it focuses your attention. How about dito sa kitchen? Ano yung gusto niyang i-focus dun sa kitchen? Anyone? Furnitures, kitchen sink, equipment, design, anong design? The tiles, right? Yung tiles, yung splash wall. This is what you call the splash wall. The designer um, want the whole kitchen muted. Tingnan nyo, ang colors ng cabinet are brown. The countertops are brown. Diba? It is under a staircase, and then ang kulay ng interior niya, ng paints niya is neutral. And then ang nag-top out lang is the splash wall, which is the checkered tile. So, good judgment. So, yun. It focuses on diverting attention. And then modulating the space to feel larger or smaller. So very very self-explanatory. So kung ano yung makikita niyo dun sa image, this is a living area and this is a welcome area. So dito sa area na to, sa living area, the designer considered light colors sa walls. Kasi limited yung space. Below, makikita nyo, sobrang dark yung intensity ng color na ginamit. From the walls, the floors, and the furnitures are all dark colors. So, ang interpretation mo is naging smaller yung space. Parang niyayakap ka ng space, di ba? Kapag ka, wall, floor, ceiling, ay dark colors lahat. So, below the dark intensity of red walls and ceiling gives the room a powerful sense of containment and formality. So, very formal itong picture below, the interior below. And this is very much light or airy dito sa isang image dito sa living area. Ang isang na-notice ko lang dito sa interspace na to, dahil napakaliit ng space, siguro the designer should have considered a type of furniture na hindi ganito kalaki, di ba? Kasi yung ganito kalaking type of furniture is for larger areas. So, parang hindi siya appropriate sa space na to. So, So that is also important, guys. When you are designing an interior space, you should consider the sizes of the furniture. So ano, dito naman, to be larger and smaller din. So as you can see, the dining area has a limited space. So what the designer did is to put a large window across the dining table, and he considered having the ceiling, having a high ceiling. Um, what is the focus of uh, this interior? It focuses on the ceilings kasi may design. So, pag pumasok sa interior, the the furniture is not um, does not suggest any extravagance. So, ang pinaka naka-focus ng attention natin is the ceiling. Ito, unifying the space or knitting it together. Sometimes, we are not limited with having color or to knit a space together. So we can use some furnitures to knit the space together. So in this example, color is used here to highlight each architectural element in the space, as though it is a freestanding piece of furniture. The overall harmony of the color. Hello? Okay po ba yung connection ko? Kasi may nag-pop out sa akin ng unstable daw ang aming internet connection.
Okay naman po, ma'am, sa akin po.
The overall harmony of the color scheme keeps the individual furniture elements unified. Contrasting accent colors emphasize the different layers of tone dividing elements, which create an even greater illusion of depth and space, much like a lively stage set. The figure dancing across the trees panels adds to its theatrical quality. So makikita mo, lahat ng elements ng interior na to is knitted together by having these furnitures, and also by knitting the colors. So makikita nyo yung color choice. If uh, if this is a different color, it separates from this space. Pero the designer wanted this to be connected with this space. So we consider the same hue for this part. And then breaking up and defining the space. Color in this interior helps organize and accent the exposed roof structure. The color gray ceiling provides a subtle contrast against the warm brown of the walls and fractal hues. So, ano yung na-highlight dito sa space? It defines the rafter of the roof. So, makita niyo high ceiling yung interior space, and then na-highlight niya yung design ng rafters ng bubong. Yan, interactiveness of color relationships. So, it depends kung anong kasama ng isang kulay. So, colors cannot be selected without taking into account all the adjacent colors and materials in the space. This requires examining the total environment where the colors will be used. Adjacent colors can have a strong effect on one another. Therefore, it is important to be able to predict and control their interaction. By itself, a muted color often looks absolutely neutral, yet when placed against another contrasting muted color, both appear to come alive and be stronger colors. So, for example, you have two neutral colors. Italabi siya, yung isa sa kaliwa is red, and then yung isa is sa dilaw. So the same color against two different color backgrounds appear to change hue. Diba? So yung neutral color, pag sinabing neutral, patay saturated. Pero when put in against another color, it looks much stronger than the other. How about in figure 2.2, may cool gray, ito. And then, sinama siya sa warm white. Anong nangyari? The full gray looks like blue, light blue. Diba? So, we must also take into consideration the interactiveness of color relationship. So, next. Um, the color hierarchy and proportion. So, paano ba masasabi yung color hierarchy and proportion? Siyempre, by area. Kung ano yung na-cover ng isang color. So, dito sa right image, is a bedroom. So, ano ba yung na-highlight? May na-highlight bang kulay dito sa interior space na to? Trying to look at the interior, meron siyang yellow orange, and then meron siyang light blue. Then meron siyang beige na colors sa beams and column. And then a light beige dun sa ceiling. And meron siyang wooden floors. Sa palagay niyo ba, meron siyang na-highlight na kulay dun sa interior? Meron ba? Have you read this lecture reference? So, wala. Kasi wala namang um, naging dominant na color dahil hindi siya yung malaki yung coverage dun sa area. Halos pantay lang yung coverage ng area, di ba? Um, when red, yellow, and blue are viewed together in equal proportions, um, yung brighter color, yun yung magdo-dominate. Pero, dito sa part na to, sa interior na to, walang dominate. If the primary colors are put into equal size, sa tingin nyo, ano yung magdo-dominate dito sa tatlo? Nabasa niyo na ba ito? Parang hindi pa. So, warmer colors elicit a stronger psychological reaction. Siyempre, tingin mo to, light yung blue, and then yung red yung, pagka mas lighter ang yellow sa red. Siyempre, ang striking ay red. Diba? These are in equal proportions. Yung nakikita niyo yung image na to. So, when you consider these three colors in equal parts, magdo-dominate pa rin itong red. So, dominant chroma. Purer colors advance and dominate, while muted or gray tones of the same color recede. Again, this assumes that the two colors appear in approximately equal proportions. Remember, the eye is naturally drawn to colors which are more intense. It is helpful to know which color dominates so that it is not used in such a great quantity as to overpower the other colors in the scheme. Understanding which color advances and which recedes can be useful if a great apparent depth of space is desired. Intense colors can be used in the foreground, while more subdued colors are used in background or recess of a space. This creates a stage set effect where recesses appear deeper than they actually are. So, in this image, yung naging consideration niya sa kulay is itong blue. And then you have the muted color. The pure blue of the soffit, ito, is dominant color while the blue-gray of the tile is subordinate. So, pag tinignan mo yung interior space, the designer wants to emphasize on the soffit. Kaya, binigyan niya ng mas intense na color ito. Uh, the color of the tiles is more subdued than the soffit. And then, yung undercounter cabinets is color brown, dark brown. So, wala ka halos makitang emphasis dito. So, ang in-emphasize mo talaga is this subject. Kasi meron siyang, talagay niyo, meron siyang skylight dito. So, yun yung naging emphasis dito sa interior ng kitchen. Dominant values. So, the lighter values advance and dominate while darker values recede. So, very effective to when you have moldings na gusto mong i-emphasize sa isang interior. Katulad na lang nitong molding dito sa art. Di ba? Nakikita mo. If you will, you should consider the molding, the paint of the molding lighter than its background para mag-pop out siya and then mag-receive yung dito sa likod. Diba? By doing that, you are emphasizing the moldings. So, in this image, the lighter value of gold in the room beyond dominates while the darker gold value in the foreground recedes. This color effect focuses attention on the room beyond and makes it very inviting. Proportions of color. So, very self-explanatory. Kapag larger yung area, you are focusing more of that color. Diba? For example, dito sa figure 2.7, 2.8. Dito sa image na to, sa taas, the lighter value is the yellow. You have red and then green for the moldings. Ito yung ginamit dito sa interior space na to. So, for the walls, the designer considered beige, and then for the moldings, meron siyang green and red. Finish molding and black. So, ang hint is use the strongest color in the smallest amount. Itong consideration ng red as the strongest color. So, ginawa niya sa molding niya the smallest amount. And then, dito, ang nangyari dito sa baba, baligtad. So, red, yung ginawa niya sa larger area, and then the smallest amount are green and beige. So, the recommended proportions of color based on their hierarchy of dominance are shown in these figures. So, imagining nyo that this interior considers this type of color scheme. So, red yung dominant, green yung nandun sa molding, and then sa ceiling is beige. So, ibang-iba yung magiging interpretation mo dun sa interior, di ba? Very constricted yung space dahil dark yung naging color ng large area ng space. dito, ang main consideration is beige or neutral colors ang dominant. Which color dominates? So, the larger the area, the stronger ang color will appear. Siyempre, di ba? Katulad dito, figure 2.9, neutral color yung larger yung area, and then you have blue, green, and orange for smaller areas. So, syempre, the larger the area, the stronger a color will appear. For this interior, consider siya ng green uh, for the walls, for the arches, and the moldings. And projections. So, katulad ng na-mention ko kanina, so if you have an interior that is rich in details, so you have to consider that the details should be on a lighter value than its background. So it projects the details, di ba? So as you can see dito sa newel post, yung details are painted white and then yung newel post is painted beige. So as well as dito sa architectural details dito sa arch, ba? Dito sa door header. So ang nangyari, they painted it lighter than the walls. So it projects. Ito naman, as you can see, high style Victorian interior ito, yung bedroom, di ba? Sa interpretation mo pa lang from the wallpapers, the lighting fixture, moldings, the furniture. Yeah. Ito is a high-style bathroom, so a period bathroom. Color placement in contemporary interior. So, depende sa design intent ng interior designer or architect kung ano yung gusto niya i-emphasize sa isang interior space. So, the rule of thumb when applying color to contemporary interiors follow. So try to understand the design intent of the space before deciding where to place the colors. If there is some unifying design element in the space, such as soffit or other consistent design detail, it may be appropriate to subtly highlight it with color. Contemporary interiors are usually composed of abstract, intersecting lines, planes, and volumes, which do not form neat little box-like rooms or neatly framed contained architectural detail. Play up the open-ended interconnecting qualities of the space with the color placement. So, kapag modern interior, um, wala siyang masyadong elaborate design. So, simple lang yung design, direct to the point, di ba? Pag ganun pag-modern. So, if you are going to emphasize an interior, you should consider having it, yung color niya, na mag-pop out. Katulad na lang dito sa interior na to. Ang highlight niya is the kitchen. Kasi, subtle yung color ng walls, beams, and then yung columns. Kung makikita mo, kapag nandito ka sa space is the kitchen itself. Si Barber yung use niya, so para siyang naging frame. Diba? Itong walls mo, naging frame ng ibig. So, dito naman sa living area na to, medyo yung, yung design na interior kasi maraming kulay kang makikita. Pero, ang na-highlight dito is this accent wall, di ba? Itong yellow na accent wall na to. So, you can do that sa interior na if you want to emphasize on an architectural element or detail, you can use color to emphasize it. So, dito naman, the walls of simple contemporary interior are treated as separate planes in individual accent. So, so nagkaroon siya ng separation ng color with purple and yellow dito sa interior. Ginawa niya sa kanyang bedroom. So, ano yung gusto niya emphasize? Dahil yung ceiling niya is not flat, di ba? So, nakita mo, yung ceiling niya, pinaint niya as light. And then, yung walls niya, nag-paint siya ng purple and yellow. So, that emphasizes the volume of the space. So, makikita mo na yung ceiling niya is along the slope of the roof. Diba? So, you can do that on the interior to emphasize its planes and all. So, sa accent elements naman, so parang ito yung sinasabi for focusing and diverting attention. So, sa accent elements, katulad dito sa dining space na to, ang pinopose ng designer is this cupboard. Diba? So, muted yung kulay ng lahat except for this cupboard. So, siya yung na-emphasize dito sa space. And then, so yung volume, kitang-kita mo kung ano yung, so rectangular yung design ng cupboard and then merong arch dito. Diba? So, by using color, you can emphasize on the volume of a space. So, dito sa, ano naman, sa living area, the emphasize is the furnitures or other interior elements. Diba? As you can see, gustong i-emphasize ng designer kasi maganda yung furniture pieces ng owner. So, in-emphasize niya yung furniture pieces niya, yung sofa, yung base, plates, yung candle holder, and others, diba? Fireplace. So, na-emphasize yung mga interior elements. Color harmony. So, sa color harmony, the most fundamental theory of color harmony is to make sure that the color scheme, any color scheme, shares something attributes. Remember that colors have three attributes, yung nabanggit natin kanina. So, maintaining some similarities between colors ensures that they relate to each other and are thereby harmonious. Once a harmonious base color combination is established, add dramatic accents to enliven the color scheme and prevent it from being boring. So, yan, hint number 3, only one color attribute at a time. So, kunwari, you are using a saturated color of kunyari, saturated na blue and then saturated na yellow. So, mag-vary ka lang ng isa. Kunyari, you considered orange as a full intensity. Diba? Mangyayari doon, um, similar yung chroma or yung saturation, but different yung hue. So, ito yung pwede nyo gawin sa color combination. Similar hue and value. Kunyari. It is an easy way to achieve color harmony to keep the hue and value the same while varying the chroma. So, ito naman, the same yung hue and value ng color. Kunyari, yung ng red, and then value is doon ka nag-settle sa lighter value ng red. You can vary on its chroma. So that is more effective to have in a color scheme. Or you can have similar hue, so isang kulay and chroma. Another way to achieve this is to include variations of the same color at the same intensity with only the relative lightness or darkness of color changing. So, lightness or darkness lang. So, kunwari, nag-settle ka sa yellow. So, mag-iiba ka lang dun sa lightness or darkness ng kulay. So, meron pa rin variation. Hindi pa rin boring yung isang interior. So, dito sa example na to, similar hue and chroma. This is a very safe and simple approach to color. The colors are all in the pitch beige family with only relative color values vary. The strongest values are in the smallest amounts, creating an overall effect that is soft and harmonious. So you can also use similar value and chroma. So in this case, the relative darkness or lightness of color would remain the same as well as the saturation level of the color. So iisa lang ah yung darkness or lightness ng color ng gagamitin mo. So by keeping the value and chroma constant and the color slightly grayed or medium chroma, one can put together virtually any color combination to create extraordinarily complex schemes which at the same time remarkably calm and harmonious. So example, similar hue and value. So ang furniture is light, every interior is grayed down, version of the wall and ceiling color. The hue and value remain constant and only the chroma varies. So, iisa lang yung nito, di ba? Pare-pareha lang. Um, nag-differ lang sa how little gray or how much gray is put into a color. Pero meron pa rin depth, di ba? Makikita mo, emphasize pa rin yung ceiling design niya kahit na iisa yung kulay na pinili niya. Di ba? Ito naman, similar value and chroma. This bedroom includes unlikely combination of colors, di ba? Merong pink, green, orange, and blue. So, iba-ibang kulay. Pero, kapag tinignan mo, no one pops out. Diba? Dahil pare-parehas lang yung chroma niya. Walang nag-pop out. Kumbaga, bland. Pare-pareho silang bland. So, ang main key is that the color is precisely the same value and chroma. Only the hues themselves are varied. So, this example suggests. So, ibang kulay pero pare-parehas ng chroma and value. So, kunyari, mid-tone gray yung lahat ng dinagdag niya dito sa apat na kulay. Pare-parehas din yung yung magiging effect niya sa interior. Walang magiging intense. So let's move on to the color schemes and design examples. So ito naman, yung mga pwede niyong gamitin ng color schemes sa interior. So unahin na natin yung monotone scheme. Pag monotone, di ba? Suggests a neutral color such as gray, beige, or cream. So ito ang gagamitin mo na is pink and shade. Black and white, di ba? So, kunyari, neutral monotone scheme. Kapag sinabing neutral monotone, ang shades lang na pinag-uusapan should be shades of white, neutral grays. Yan yung neutral monotone. And then, for the full monotone scheme, syempre, you can consider the full color. So, it includes green grays, blue grays, lavender grays, or full of whites. That suggests full monotone scheme. So, as you can see dito sa leftmost image, use neutral monotone scheme. For cool monotone scheme, so ito, designer considered ice blue with the warm orange and yellow dito sa interior. Warm monotone scheme, so muted bronze colors. So this is an example of warm monotone scheme which Frank Lloyd Wright used in his original home. So makikita mo, four earth colors, earth tones, yung naging color scheme ni Frank Lloyd Wright. So warm monotone pa rin magpupol yan dahil may yellow, di ba? So, monochromatic schemes. Kapag sinabing monochromatic scheme, you will pick a hue, yung full intensity ng color, and then you will differ or the values will differ in lightness or darkness of the color. So, kapag nag-apply ka ng monochromatic scheme, by, example dito sa figure na to, nag-pick siya ng blue. So, the hue or the full intensity of blue, and then yung lightness or darkness of the color blue. So, dito, isa lang naman yung color scheme na pinili niya, di ba? Blue-green. So, meron lang siyang darker tone ng green, ng blue-green, and then lighter tone ng green. So, gumamit siya ng monotone scheme. So, parehas lang dito sa interior nitong bedroom. Nag-consider siya ng mas darker tone ng pink and then lighter. So, for the analogous scheme, ito lang yung tatlong magkakatabi din sa color wheel, di ba? Sa example na to, ang ginamit niya is yellow, yellow, orange, and orange. So, yan. Analogous scheme. So, kahit alin na magkakatabi, na tatlong magkakatabing kulay sa color scheme, that is analogous scheme. For the split complementary, ito yung buo ng Y. So, split complements dito sa color is yellow, green, yellow, orange, and purple. So, kailangan lang maingat kayo in consideration dun sa pipiliin yung kulay. So, dito sa interior, ang pinili niyang color is yellow-green for the walls, yellow-orange for the ceiling, and deep purple on the carpet. Ito, medyo mahirap to, yung multitude of colors and textures. So, you have to always be careful in choosing your colors. Ito naman is a powerful scheme. Uses the full intensity of a color. So, itong column na to, i-painted it red, then behind it, this is the blue and yung green. So, full intensity. And then the triads, ito yung three equidistant colors. So, isang example na dyan, syempre, is the three primary colors, which is the blue, red, and yellow. So, ito is a summer house. So, nasa coastal community, use the primary colors for to bring a tropical environment. So, blue for the water, yellow for the sun. Tetrads. So, apat na color na yung kinonsider niya. red, orange, green, and blue. So, ginamit niya yun dito sa interior ng kitchen. Very playful yung yung naging color scheme niya dito sa interior ng kitchen. So, for the discordant colors or special effects, so depende sa inyo if you have something to emphasize on. Katulad na lang dito sa interior nitong dining area. The designer wants to emphasize on the colors of the seat. Diba? Dito naman, the designer used it on the curtains, pati sa mga linens. Dito naman sa interior na to, kahit madaming color siya, hindi mo makikil na siya, nasa, nasa iba't ibang space ka. Pero, iisa pa rin yung naging interpretation mo dun sa space. Unified pa rin yun sa space. Ayan. For this topic, color is very important sa interior. Last last year, ang pinagawa ko dito is, consider ko talaga yung mga color schemes to be put on a plate. Kunwari, ang pinagawa ko is bedroom. So, magagawa sila ng different color schemes for them to have a different interpretation dun sa design ng nila, ng bedroom. Pero dahil ngayon, wala kayong laboratory, so na lang muna, please take note of these considerations um, when designing your interior space. Ayan. So, that ends our second topic, color basics and theory. So, kindly review on the references that I gave you because we are having preliminary exam next week. So, yung prelim exam nyo will cover the two topics, design and architecture and color basics. Is there any concern or clarification regarding the topic?
Wala na po.
Wala. So, ayun, mag-review na lang kayo on the references that I gave. Para next week will be your preliminary exam. And then, so that is sa 20, October 20, 3 to 4, same time. And then, sisend ko na lang ulit sa LMS. Mag-a-upload na lang ako ng panibagong lecture reference for the next topic, which is lighting designs for interior. Ayan. So, any question?
Ma'am po, ma'am.
So, nasan si Gab? Gab,
Ma'am. Hello po, ma'am.
take picture na for the attendance.
Ano po, ma'am?
Post na lang ng lahat na mag-camera on for the attendance.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. Smile. Wait lang po.
Okay na, Gab?
Isa pa po, ma'am. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Smile. Ma'am, okay na po.
Okay na. Sige. Thank you, Gab. Okay, so this ends our online class today. So see you siguro in the next 2 weeks kasi sa 20 is training. Then sa 27 na tayo mag-meet for an online class. Ayun, sige. Thank you for your time. This art 1-2.
Thank you
Thank
po,
you
ma'am.
po, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Salamat po, ma'am.
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you po,
Thank you po, ma'am.
Thank you po.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.